Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another One More Podcast. We have a special interview with Joe Lockett. He is a radio host in Alabama, and he has a new show coming out this week. Definitely want to check it out. All the information is going to be links down in the descriptions below. Got all that contact info, social media, where you can find it, websites, all that good stuff. So it's a nice, rounded out 30-ish minutes, give or take. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'll cut some stuff out. Maybe I won't. Whatever. Blake, anything? Wasn't that a great interview?
It was a blast.
Yes.
It was a blast talking to Joe.
So good.
A lot of insight. He's a really smart guy, really insightful.
Yes.
If you want to check out Joe's radio show, you can go to joelockettShow.com. It's 4 to 7 every Saturday. Or if you want to follow Joe on Twitter, just go to @JoeLockettShow on Twitter.
Yeah.
You can catch up on all of Joe's doings.
All right.
Hope you guys enjoy.
Yeah, definitely. Peace.
At 13 years old, I was just wanting to get out of my parents' house because they were getting on my nerves. That's as far as I had thought about it. I'm just to be honest. My quickest thing was I was going to join the military, and that's what I did. I didn't really know what I was going to do after that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, at 13, man, I just wanted to get out of my parents' house because I didn't want to listen to my dad anymore.
Gotcha. Okay, so how long when did you start going into radio?
6 years ago, actually.
So this was kind of like a recent thing for you?
Radio is.
Okay. So following up on all that, you say 6 years, and I guess relative to anyone's time, that's a short period. But it seems like you've done a lot in kind of the game that you're playing in right now. Because I know you're doing a mentor camp. If you want to speak more about that, and we'll kind of get into a few other things. So kind of why mentor camp? Why not a different avenue? Did you feel kind of like just the one-on-one of an actual camp was better, or tell us a little bit about that?
The Joe Lockett mentoring camp, man, just came from an idea of, once I started the radio show and it started to take legs of its own, you want to give back to your community. Okay. And so I had to figure out what I can do for the younger generation, because the way I got into radio, there's really no avenues for it. And so I didn't have a mentor. I had my father, which is one of my heroes, but a mentor I didn't really have. So I said, something? I see this great opportunity to reach out to the young men who don't have fathers in their lives, moms working all the time. So I reached out to a couple of my friends that own business entrepreneurs. It was actually 5. And I asked each one of them for $200 a piece. And I took $200. Said, we did the book bag drive, but then I said I want to start a mentoring camp because those 5 friends I took with them, and I told them, I said, hey man, I need you guys to come to, I'm gonna rent a building, and I want you guys to come and talk to these kids. Kids don't know what they want to do, like I didn't, like you just asked me. 13, didn't know what I want to do.
Yeah.
But if a kid get a chance to put their hands on a welding gun or be an electrician or see something and somebody kind of tell them what they goes through, it can change the kid's life.
No, for sure.
Absolutely. So how many kids do you think you've helped when you started this mentor camp?
In the last 3 years, I probably helped over 200 kids.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome.
Congratulations. That is awesome. So these kids are getting into different trade schools and stuff like that. Because that was one of my goals going through high school was I know I either wanted to go military or go into a trade. And luckily I found the trade. So what other avenues, just trade schools, or what other avenues are these kids trying to look for?
Well, what we try to do is give them broad perspective. We have entrepreneurs, we have CEOs, we have owners, we have blue-collar workers, white-collar workers come in and talk with the kids. We have people teach the boys how to tie ties. We have women that come and teach girls, about the things that have to go through with their body. Because a lot of these kids, man, with the stuff that you and I take for granted because our parents taught us, man, there's a whole generation of kids out there raising themselves, and they don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know how many boys come to me each and every year who cannot tie a tie? The guy they're shooting guns, okay?
Right.
If they knew how to tie a tie, they'd probably be in a damn suit, right?
Very true. Yeah.
And still out there with their pants sagging. So a lot of things that these kids are not being taught, or just on the etiquette level, we can curb a lot of this violence and craziness out in our society.
Understood. So whenever we're talking about, and me and Yuval have touched on this before in some of our other podcasts. So, and this is something that I remember watching one of your videos about parents just being there for their kids in the home. And statistically, I think the last statistic that came out was that 70% of Black kids in the United States are now grown up in a single mother household. How much do you think that affects a kid, and what steps could be taken in order to, kind of flip the narrative on that?
That's a long-winded question, but I give you.
I'm sorry.
Repeat the last one to me one more time.
Just the last part is, you got 70% of black kids growing up in single mother households, according to the last poll. So, what kind of steps can be taken on, with this mentor camp and with any other steps do you think can be taken in order to help change the narrative on that?
I'm going to be honest with you fellas, man. The narrative is not going to change no time soon.
Really?
Yeah, it's not going to change anytime soon because the mentality in our society will not allow us to. Right now, what we're doing, I am a drop on a needle point in the Earth's atmosphere at this point in time. Mm-hmm. And so I know that what I'm doing is going to be effective at some point on a very small, minute level. But we have to get through this cycle in our country right now that we're going through. So right now, a lot of people, man, they don't want to do any better. Mm-hmm. It's not that, you look at the parents, you talk to them, man, a lot of these parents are satisfied where they are. When I grew up, my parents wanted more.
Right.
But there's a generation out there who don't want more. They don't care, and they don't care about taking your life, at the end of the day. And some of these kids, when you talk to them, man, I've mentored and I talk to them. Some of these kids don't care about dying. If you talk to them, man, I don't know if I'm going to live to see 15 or 18. When I grew up, I never had the idea in my mind that I wouldn't live to see an old age. These kids are talking about 14 years old. Man, I may not live to see tomorrow. This is their mentality. This is what they're talking about. And so it's kind of for me to see, even with what I'm doing and a lot of other people doing, that things are going to change. It has to change at the top with our leadership, with our parents, in politics, in our pits. Everybody got to have a different mentality. We are doing a very horrible job at raising the next generation because we're fighting with one another as adults. Third example.
Okay, so do you think the political atmosphere right now, it's obviously doing, more harm to these kids than good?
Yes, I think so because I think, it's not one side or the other. I think we're just setting a bad example because if we're arguing and fight with one another, how can we tell kids not to argue and fight? If we're name calling and belittling one another, how can we go out there and tell our kids not to do it? Our president does it.
Absolutely.
Very
true.
So
what do you think that, both sides of this political aisle or both sides of any debate, what do you think could bring everybody in, into the center to just at least sit down and talk? Because we're seeing a lot on college campuses where, a whole bunch of people are just striking down either side, whether it's conservative or liberal. What do you think we can bring us together in order to get that ball rolling?
Man, honestly, this may sound stereotypical, but I'm just going to say, man, we need to talk more about God, more about what our likes are, and stop talking about the differences. Because if you look at TV right now, you turn on any channel, the only thing that you hear that we're talking about is what we disagree upon. Mm-hmm. There are things that the Republican Party, the Democrats, blacks and whites, that we agree on. The stuff that we see on TV each and every freaking day, man, when you walk outside your house, it's like that. When you go to the bank, when you go to the wall, when you go to work, it is not what you see on TV. It's scripted. And so we fight the battles on TV to get them ratings, and we continue to watch that so they can get sponsors. And until we get out of that cycle, this dumb cycle that's out there, we're going to continue to fall into the cusp of corporations that's making money off of us at the end of the day.
So do you think that's just going to be time, or is that probably just the biggest thing?
For sure. I think time, because if you look at history, right? If you go through history, every history in history, there's always been where people had to go through, and you had to just get through that time period. And right now we're in a time period where we went from Barack Obama to President Donald, one left, one right, went to the opposite end of the spectrum. Now, probably in the next 8 years, we're going to end up somewhere in the middle because we're seeing both sides on the extreme. And so now we got to go back into the middle. But a lot of people are being hurt. A lot of people are being devastated in these last 12 years. I'm dealing with these guys.
No, I totally agree with that. That's I've definitely made multiple comments, and Blake I feel like Blake agrees with me on this one. Is just kind of how desensitized we've become to just all of this. It's just so much is happening right now, and just so much, it just feels like every other week or every other day is just something now on the news that it's something shooting relating, something with the schools, something with the government. It's always something. So
Exactly.
No, I totally agree. Just who knows? Definitely in the next 4 to 8 years, what's going to happen, and hopefully we could level out. I'd love to have a complete peace.
We will. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The world is a beautiful place, man. Our kids are beautiful. Human beings are beautiful people. We're just showing our ugly side right now. And one thing I've said on many interviews is this right here.
Mm-hmm.
What people get caught up in is all our lives, man. Your life, my life, your listener's life. Everybody's life has its layers.
Mm-hmm.
Politics is just one layer of your life. That's what one portion.
True.
Right? You have religion, you have personal, you have love, you have friendships, you have family. We get caught up in one portion of our life and say, well, hell, if your life is this screwed up, if you believe in Donald Trump or you like Donald Trump, we don't like you.
Mm.
Huh?
No, yeah,
huh?
Yeah, right.
Really? I mean, I don't like it because of your politics, but you may be a good husband. You may be a good father. You know what I mean? You may be a good friend, but I don't like you because of your politics. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, when you take a step back and realize just kind of how minute that whole thing, that whole political realm is, and you just step back and realize that everyone's got to put food on the table. Everyone has to get up and go to work. If we could just get there somehow, then I feel like all of this political mumbo jumbo will just kind of fade back into the background.
Well, I also think it's partially just because we're so ingrained with who you identify. I feel like probably in the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years or so, that the question of are you a Democrat or are you a Republican, or what's your political affiliation, has been introduced in just regular conversation for so much. So just immediately, if I go, I'm probably a Democrat, Blake, you're probably a Republican. Immediately we're just creating a line and saying, okay, if you're a Republican, you think this way, this way, this way. If you're a Democrat, you think this way, this way, this way. And it's
exactly.
We're almost blending like politics and what you were saying, the multi-layer aspects of who we are as people. So
no, it's not almost. We do that. We paint everything with a broad brush.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a Republican, you're a bad person. You're a racist. You sell out your Uncle Tom. If you're a Democrat, you're a liberal. You're crazy as hell. You don't know anything, and you want everything to be free. And that's just not true.
No, of course,
that's just not true.
Totally agree.
That leads me to one question that I was wondering whenever I was watching one of your interviews on MSNBC. The news commentator said that you identify as a Republican. I think is what she said. And I've always wondered, because I was talking to another one of my friends, and who's happens to be African American, was also but his mom and his dad were both Republicans, but he decided to be Democrat, and he gave his parents a lot of flack for it, because they're not in quote joining his side. And I'm wondering, I think that is one big thing that has to change, is looking through all of that and just realizing that somebody is just thinks a little bit different than you, regardless of race or where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think for me, I identify as a Republican more, but I'm an independent conservative.
Okay.
I believe in small government. I believe in small government. I believe in, making sure the budget is balanced, things like that. I'm definitely not a Donald Trump Republican.
We're going to get along great, Joe.
Well, I'm just saying, that broke clock is right twice a day. I want the president to actually win. I'm not against the guy. He's feeding me carnivore and telling me it's good for my body. And I understand he's showing us something, how screwed up the system is. But at the same time, I don't like the way he's doing it. Mm-hmm. And, I just think, as human beings, we can treat each other better and still get the same results.
Mm-hmm. Right. Do you think this also has something to do with because I saw another recent poll that more Americans are leaving, whether it be the Islam faith, Judaism, or Christian, more Americans than ever are fleeing away from religion. Do you think that has something to do with it?
If that poll is true, what you're saying, I think that has a whole lot to do with it, because, when I grew up, 48 years old, and when I grew up, the one thing that we all believed in was a higher power. I believe in God. Mm-hmm. Sure. And so if you don't believe in anything else but man, right, and you don't, there's nothing else out there, what do you have to hope for? I mean, what do you believe in? You're no better than the next man next to you. So I can't help people, not to believe in God. But for me, I've just seen miraculous things happen in my life. Something great happens to me every time I'm obedient. Something great happens to me. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that happens. So the only way I can explain it is it had to be a godly figure.
Interesting. Okay. I see what you're saying there.
Another question for you to transition a little bit. So
Sure.
you know, we did our due diligence. I feel like in terms of doing a little research on you and figuring out all of your bad secrets. I'm just kidding about that part. But definitely for sure. I in all of your videos and just and while you're talking on the radio, you very much give off the impression that you're a very passionate person. That you're you speak with a lot of emphasis. You speak you essentially just genuine. I can tell that you're very genuine in how you're talking. So I just wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit. So on very divisive issues, so whatever hot button topics are going on the station, or however it is even in your personal life, just if you want to give us kind of a little bit of your thought process on how how you come to a conclusion, and how you argue your points and stuff like that. Just curious, because
Right.
I always find it very interesting on how people will change with what their process is. So if you want to speak a little bit to that, that'd be awesome.
Sure. Well, you're not going to get this answer. I'm sorry. It's not going to be this big dictionary of Joe Lockett, but it's really simple, man.
Uh-huh.
I learned this probably when I lived in Japan. Years ago, I was traveling over to Japan, maybe coming home visiting from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short is I was sitting in business class, and I was sitting next to this rich guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to him, and I was, asking him basically, how did you do it? How did you get in business? How did you come up with these ideas? Throughout the conversation, he gave me one phrase that always stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I use it for my rhyme of reasoning. And it's this right here. I share with you listeners today. When you want to learn and you want to understand something,
mm-hmm.
always look and view something through a kid's eyes, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll find the answer.
Interesting.
So just breaking it
so
down, just breaking things down to their fundamental points, and then just attacking it that way.
Yeah. So when I'm speaking with people, man, number one, I realize you're a human being, and I listen to where you're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
and why you're angry or why you're passionate about what you're passionate about. Because I may not have the same passion, but if you're passionate about the way you love Donald Trump, I need to understand that first.
Right.
So I listen, and then I ask a few questions. And then if I see where, okay, you love Donald Trump no matter what, I'm not going to try to deter you from, liking Donald Trump. But I would say, okay, you and I will agree to disagree on this issue. But I respect where you're coming from, because I have people that I will fight for. It's just not Donald Trump.
Sure.
Because I don't have to be right on my opinion about the way I feel about somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But that's your right. So who am I as a man to tell you who to vote for or how to feel about somebody?
No,
so
that's
for me,
very
I think
true.
it's respect. It's probably more respect and looking at everything through a kid's eyes and just listening first. Because we do a lot of screaming at one another.
That's true.
We jump out there really quick. Hey, you this. Oh, you're Republican. Oh, you this. Oh, you're a black guy. You're a thug. Oh, you're a white guy. No, dude. Number one, I got a family. I'm trying to go to work. I take care of my family just like you do.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
No, I totally feel on that. And that actually kind of leads a little bit into my next question.
Sure.
When going through all these, you have, I think you have a very sound way of thinking through things and really forming your opinion. I do agree a lot to what you're saying. Have you ever seen yourself changing your opinion or changing after learning new information, or
Of course. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I don't mind pumping my brakes and getting a cause to pause. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Okay. No, that's awesome. Hey, man, we need a lot more of you guys out there, because I definitely some people in personal life, as well as I've seen in kind of the political game, is just everyone gets so entrenched with what they're you get into a debate and you can't change minds. You're just making other people even hold on even stronger to what they were originally thinking. So
because you want to win. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
You want to win the debate. And that's the thing. When you're debating people, It's called a debate. It ain't called a win or loss. It's called a debate. You debate because you have opposite sides of opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal is always to try to leave the table where the other person feel as though they have something they have won too. I don't walk away as a loser. You don't walk away as a loser. It's called compromise.
No, yeah, you're speaking to the choir, man. That's actually one thing that we try and do on the podcast here is very much new issues, whatever we find out, whatever we research. If you hear something in the news, we talk about it, and it's very, very open. Just we're here. We're two people trying to figure out what's going on. There's no reason for yelling, no reason to bring in anger and all that kind of stuff. So no, that's good. I'm really glad that you're very open to change an opinion and stuff like that.
What compromise
definitely.
where do you think the two sides can compromise? Because right now it seems that it's almost like as if conservatives or Republicans, like take the anthem for example. I know I'm rambling, but take the anthem for example. It's either you are for the military for people not kneeling, or you're against like it cannot be so black and white, right? So where can we find middle ground on some issues?
Again, I think it goes back to understanding that it's a compromise, right? And when the middle ground is finding the sweet spot of giving a person a little bit of what they want, where you get a little bit of what you want, a little give and take. And right now, what we're seeing, nothing is good enough, even when people try to compromise. When people say they want to protest, okay, you said protest in silence. Well, we just take Colin Kaepernick, for example. He was protesting in silence, but now you don't like the location. Well, you don't like him sitting down. So a soldier told him to kneel. A soldier, right, in the military told him to kneel.
Yep.
That's more respectful.
Yep.
Okay? And so he went and kneeled and did it respectfully, and still that was not good enough. It's now on the national anthem. You're not supposed to be doing that. Well, he's protesting because he thinks it needs change in America. So how can you protest in silence and you do it, peacefully? And people now it's the location. Now is this. Now is that. So you're not giving and taking. And so if the man even went outside and protested after the football game, you still want to protest the NFL now.
Yeah.
So it was never about the national anthem. It's about Colin Kaepernick, and you don't like the cause, what he's actually protesting for. And people won't come out and tell the truth. See, you have to tell the truth about why you're mad at somebody. Sometimes in this country, we do not tell people we don't tell why we mad. We may say it's for the national anthem. No, you're really pissed off at Colin Kaepernick because he started something and you found something you can, tag this guy with. And so no matter what he does, if he can go to Africa and kneel, you're still going to have a problem with it.
True. Because
he's in the NFL, and the NFL shouldn't be in Africa, and they shouldn't be supporting the guy over there. He just got a contract today with Nike.
He did, yeah.
And the guy's he's not in the NFL. He's not kneeling, and people are talking about they're going to burn. They're burning their socks. They're burning their shoes. Yep. Why?
It even took
explain to me why.
It even took a step further, and Nike's stock dropped 2.8 points or 2.8%.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, that it dropped today, man. But what people are not telling the bigger story, I just got off TV and doing the story. The stock market was down today all over.
Right.
They just trying to make it about Colin Kaepernick. The stock market was down, period. So it didn't have anything to do with Colin Kaepernick. And 2% or 3% is nothing for Nike.
Right.
If that's the protest, Nike won all day long.
Right. Yeah. You have a big corporation like that. If they know any business risk going involved, and if they feel like that's their guy to go behind and market to kids that need to hear that, then more power to them to go ahead and try to get their message out. Absolutely.
For sure.
Nike made this move, man. It was strictly business. They hijacked the platform. They made it a self-conscious social issue, which they normally do, but it was all about business. It was all about money. It was really nothing about Colin Kaepernick. They just did the timing because if they really cared, they would have came out 2 years ago when he was actually in the heat of fire, but Nike was nowhere to be found. It was very solid. They was paying him because he was Nike. Nike was sponsoring him, but they didn't come out with one damn word when he was going through it, when that fire was on. They just kept paying him. But now it's over with, and now they seem to benefit from this issue. Now they come out and make it an issue, but it's all about money.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that approach because I just thought Kaepernick's contract with Nike just kept going. I didn't even think about that. Okay.
Yeah, he just renewed his contract. His contract was about to end, and Adidas and everybody was coming after him. Nike is very smart in marketing. You take the little guy, you done beat up on the little guy, and now we're going to fight back. Just do it. That's what they always do. So the marketing people, kudos. It's a business move. I'm not mad at them, but at the same time, we have to be very cognizant of, okay, this is a business, and Colin Kaepernick got to be careful too. Right. Because what he's doing at the same time, you're making a whole bunch of money, and you got the kids and people falling behind you. But at the same time, bro, what about police?
Sure. And isn't he still in the lawsuit with the NFL? I think he's still,
Yes.
He is?
Yes, he's still in the lawsuit. Yep.
Gotcha.
He's still in the lawsuit.
Well, then I don't see that ending anytime soon, right? So.
Well, he just got a ruling that he can go ahead and charges against the NFL, so we're going to see how that all works out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but again, it's more money. If he wins, he's gonna get money from the NFL. So it's still about more money.
Right.
True.
Do you expect to see
the options don't look good. Go ahead.
Right. Well, do you expect to see any more protests going on in the NFL? Do you expect to see it subside? Because I'm in Dallas, so we had the whole Jerry Jones controversy where he told his players, you're absolutely not going to kneel. That whole thing. So
right.
I expect to see just more players just standing up and doing what they think is right. That's how I see the trend going.
I mean, that's what you'd hope for, right?
I think there are people going to protest. But my take on it is a little bit different probably than most people. I would tell these guys to stop protesting and go do their job.
Interesting.
You're not going to make an effect on what the guy actually started doing more.
So very much the LeBron James tactic where, you stay silent on the court, but when it comes to actually, doing stuff for your community, you're spending a lot of your time and a lot of your efforts in that regard.
I'm not going to tell a grown man what not to do.
Right.
It's not my place. But I'm just saying, these guys, when they wanted to get in the NFL, you want to go to the NBA and things like that, right? The one thing that you're thinking about that I'm going to work really hard to get here. Okay? And so once you get there, you didn't think that your life is going to be, I got to take up the cause for the black people. You know what I mean? That wasn't your fight. You worked your ass off to get to this point so you can get in the NFL so you get money to take care of your family.
Right.
Colin Kaepernick decided to make that call. He didn't text those guys or say, hey, let's get together and protest. He did it on his own.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that this issue all over the place, there's no way in the world that I could actually sit here and say, okay, I'm going to be protesting and lose my job and get people mad at me and get the ratings in the NFL to go down, because if the ratings in the NFL go down, who's going to pay these guys their millions? Right. I'm not.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, it's a business decision at that point, right?
Right. I'm not going to pay these guys any money, right? So, but like I told the black people on my radio show, and I said the black community, y'all truly care and y'all want to get behind it. When Rosie Parks boycotted, the black community boycotted.
Right.
It wasn't Rosie Parks and not Donald Trump, but Martin Luther King back in the day, and those guys. It was everybody boycotted. They can get fired too. That's what they always tell them. Y'all costing me about my bottom line. So stop protesting, do your job, and find, if you really care, find another way to do this. Not on your job. Keep your money, man.
Hot sports opinion, Mr. Lockett.
There it is.
We're going to need to wrap this up in just a second. But so where can people listening find your radio show, man?
They can catch my radio show. You can go to JoeLockettShow.com and catch it every Saturday, 4 to 7. And you also can catch my TV show every day on Alabama Cable Network. I'm quite sure you guys don't have it. The JLEN HD.com, JLEN.com. You can catch my live TV show. It's called Outspoken with Joe Lockett.
Gotcha. And
awesome.
If any of our listeners want to follow Joe on Twitter, it's just at Joe Lockett Show. Joe, thank you for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hope to see you again soon.
Thanks for talking with you guys. You guys have a great night now.
Yeah, God bless. You as well. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.